So what's going on, everyone? T Glizzy here, and in this Destiny 2 video we have one of the best builds in all of Destiny 2. We have an invincibility build, and we put together one of these builds a few seasons back for the Hunter class, but it looks like this season of the Lost, now the Warlocks have their own invincibility build. This is one that you're going to want to keep an eye on, because with all of the brand new legendary content coming out this season, we have legendary Astral Alignment, we have legendary Shattered Realm, we have some legendary content that's coming, and this is going to be challenging content, so you're going to want to be staying alive inside of all of this content, and this is going to be a build you want to keep an eye on. So we're going to be showing you how you can utilize this build properly, and you can be using this build in any piece of in-game content and be practically unkillable. The stag got a huge buff this season, and that's going to be the exotic we're going to be looking at today. But yeah guys, let's go ahead and dive straight into the video. If you guys do go on to enjoy, let me know by smashing that thumbs up button, and without further ado, let's dive straight into it. So we're diving straight into the build. For our subclass, we're going to be using the Shadebinder subclass, so we can take advantage of all of those stasis fragments. So for our first fragment, we have Whisper of Durance, and this fragment reads, slow from your abilities last longer. For those abilities that linger, their duration will also increase, and then we also get a nice bump to our strength stat. Now taking a look at our next stasis fragment, we have Whisper of Torment, and this stasis fragment reads, you gain grenade energy each time you take damage from targets. So let's take a look at our next stasis fragment. We have Whisper of Chains, and this stasis fragment reads, while you're near frozen targets or a friendly stasis crystal, you take reduced damage from targets, and then we also get a small bump to our recovery stat. So for our fourth and final fragment, it doesn't matter what stasis fragment you choose, but we went with the Whisper of Conduction. It gives us a small boost to our resilience and intellect stat, but we won't be taking advantage of this fragment's perk, which reads, nearby stasis shards track to your position, so there's no benefit that will gain from this perk, so it doesn't matter what you choose for your fourth stasis fragment. So now moving on to the actual build, and this build is going to be centered around the Stag exotic, and this exotic just got buffed with the Season of the Lost, so now you're going to be granting a 25% damage reduction to your PVE allies, and then a 15% damage reduction to your PvP allies. So you can also take advantage of this damage reduction as well by just simply standing in your rift. So this exotic comes with the exotic perk Dearly Departure, and this exotic perk reads, your rift provides damage reduction to allied guardians standing in it, and grants rift energy when you're critically wounded, and on your death creates a healing rift on your corpse. So the stag can do a lot of things, and now with this buff that Bungie just gave it, the stag is easily one of the best warlock exotics to use. So now moving on to our mods. So for our first mod, we have Protective Light, and this mod reads, while charged with light, you gain a significant damage resistance against combatants when your shields are destroyed. This effect consumes all stacks of charged with light. The more stacks consumed, the longer the damage resistance lasts, and then you will be taking a stat penalty for using this mod, and it's going to be -10 to your strength stat. For our next mod, we're going to be using Well of Tenacity, and this mod reads, picking up a void elemental well reduces the damage you take from combatants for a short period of time. Now taking a look at our next mod, we have Supercharge, and this mod reads, you can have 2 additional stacks of charged with light, so now you can hold up to a maximum of 5 stacks of charged with light. So for our next mod, we have Reaping Wellmaker, and this is another elemental well mod, and this mod reads, after activating your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns a void elemental well. So now taking a look at our final set of mods, we have Taking Charge, become charged with light by picking up orbs of power, and then for our final mod here, we have Passive Guard, and this mod reads, receive less damage from combatants that are close to you while you are wielding a sword. So that does it for our build, and if you're looking to enhance this build even further, you can add on one of the new stasis primaries that can roll with Headstone. Headstone reads, precision final blows spawn a stasis crystal at the victim's location, so we can spawn stasis crystals, and thanks to our stasis fragment, we'll be getting damage reduction when standing near our stasis crystals. So this is going to be an excellent way to just enhance this build even further if you do have one of the new stasis primaries that can roll with Headstone. So now that we know the mods and exotics that we need to use for this build, now let's get into how this build works in actual gameplay. So we're going to always want to keep our resist times 4 up at all times. So to get to resist times 4, you'll need 4 times charged with light. So you'll need 4 orbs of light to be charged with light times 4. And then you'll also just need your rift. So first we'll put down our rift, and then after that we'll take advantage of the protective light mod. So we'll need to go critical, and then once we go critical, we'll get to times 4 by our protective with light mod. So once we are at ×4, to keep our ×4 up at all times, we'll just need to keep putting down rifts, or we'll need to be picking up our void elemental wells. So to take full advantage of this build, make sure you have your sword out at all times. Your sword is also going to grant you damage resistance as well. Thanks to the passive guard mod, we're going to be getting damage reduction from our sword. So our sword's going to be granting us around a 20 to 25% damage reduction. So on top of all of the other damage resistance we're getting, we can get additional damage resistance by just pulling out our sword. So this means we'll be somewhere in the range of 90 to 95% when it comes to damage reduction. So it's going to take a lot of firepower to actually kill you. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is easily one of the best builds in all of Destiny 2. It makes that hard in-game content into easy mode content. So if you're trying to get any of the flawless emblems, or if you're trying to complete grandmasters, or if you're trying to even complete master raids, then you want to take a look at these invincibility builds, because they help so much when it comes to not dying in those activities. You get somewhere around a 90 to 95% damage reduction when using this build, and that is just absolutely insane. That means you can just face tank almost any type of damage and you'll be able to survive. So this is just going to help you survive more in those hard high-end endgame activities. But yeah guys, we did put together a build for the hunter class as well. So if you guys want to see an invincibility build for the hunter class, then you can find that in the top right hand or in the description. And that's going to do it for me in this Destiny 2 video. If you guys did enjoy, please be sure to let me know by smashing that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe for more. And I have been your boy T Glizzy. You guys have been my awesome viewers, and I'll see you guys in another. Peace.